Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. That's Joe Keery, who plays Steve Harrington on Stranger Things. And he went to DePaul, and right out of DePaul, got taken up by Stranger Things, and he wrote a great song about Chicago. And speaking of great Chicagoans and things that are iconic in this wonderful city that you experience every day, and I do, is Riot Fest, which is coming up September 20th, Saturday, September 21st, and Sunday, September 22nd, with the greatest lineup I've seen in just about 100 years. So joining us, 100 years. So joining us right now on the phone is Riot Mike, the creator and the man behind the curtain of Riot Fest. And the huge news, obviously, this week was we had announced with Riot Mike a few months back that it was in Bridgeview, and now it's come back to Douglas Park, its true original home. I mean, I know there's Humboldt Park, of course, but for many years, Douglas Park. And Riot Mike, thank you for joining the show this morning. We appreciate you calling in.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. So right out of the bat, just to get everybody's questions and going on, what was the process and how did this all come about? Because it's been on every, besides us breaking the news, and we love you so much for always giving us the info that's going to happen with Riot Fest. And then, of course, like even WGN TV. I think I even saw this on a Russian music website, came across my timeline somehow. I don't know why that hit my algorithm and it came across my timeline, but I'm aware that Riot Fest comes back to Douglas Park. So give us the information on that, on the process, what happened, how did it happen, and how happy you are now to be back in Douglas Park.
Well, let's start. I'm happy. I'm thrilled to be back. And quite honestly, there was no intention to come back at all. None. I mean, the decision was made to move to Bridgeview. And then after we announced, for the very first time, we actually got a call from the mayor's office. And so we've been around since, 2005. That was the first time anybody downtown reached out to us. And they wanted to talk and see why we left. So
that's a pretty funny thing. So, hey, why'd you guys leave? Haven't talked to you. Don't really know you that well, but why'd you leave?
And I think there was it came out of nowhere. So it was a week or two after we made the announcement. I had a meeting with the mayor, and really on my end there was no expectations. There was no really set agenda on anything. It was they wanted a meeting, and let's talk. And out of that meeting, I mean, we didn't talk about like coming back to Chicago or anything. At some point, maybe within 5-10 minutes in, it was the mayor and I started vibing. And the things, we were talking about independent and alternative culture and its relation to community, and how you have really two communities that are underappreciated and underserved in Chicago, one of them being the 24th Ward and the other one being independent music. Mm-hmm. So it resonated. And I could tell it resonated with him. And from that one discussion, it planted a seed of maybe we should come back. Right?
Yep.
And the more it just started growing in my brain and feeling that we were aligned with somebody downtown who actually 100% we were aligned. He gets it. He understands why Metro is a cultural asset, why the Fireside Bowl.
Sure.
It's it. Because it's the same thing as, in many ways, as a grocery store in a community that's been there for 30 years. That's not some huge super store with a huge parking lot.
Yeah.
Family-owned stuff, small businesses. Very much related. And so, in many ways, it was a little bit of self-reflection, because I saw how genuine and authentic he was with this. And that was the big surprise of the meeting.
Yeah. I mean, and it's amazing. Yeah. And now and then you proceeded and all the stuff. I can't imagine what it's like to try to bring it back, but you did. And with all those roadblocks and stuff with the city, and now you've got this, relationship with Chicago, like you said, after pretty much 20 years of Riot Fest. And that makes us all feel good. And like you said about independent music and being in Chicago where it belongs.
Yeah. I didn't know what the reaction was with the decision or how it would be taken on us coming back. Clearly, it was a huge lift. It's like we're creating this village, in a new venue, and to just pick that up and bring it back, that was a huge lift. And it's a lot of it. It wasn't like, hey, let's just do this. It took weeks to see whether that was even possible.
Now, Mr. Riot Mike, I have to ask, because a lot of people were very excited about Riot Land and all the things that were going to be offered there, kind of because of the space that you were going to obtain. Mm-hmm. Can we look forward to a Riot Land still being mapped out, or is it going to be more of the traditional what it was last year? Just what can people expect now?
Riot Land is making its way over to Douglas Park.
Okay.
And that was part of the process of, the weeks, whether or not, how are we going to jigsaw this in? And we have a lot of great people working the staff. Riot Fest staff is the best. And after weeks and everybody just dedicating, a lot of time, energy, dropping a bunch of stuff to make sure that we can do this. And in a few weeks, we're going to be putting out the new maps for it. I'm really excited.
I can imagine. It's crazy because, this vision that you had for Riot Land that you expressed, so eloquently, like I said, a couple months ago on the radio, and to do that now at Douglas Park and how you're going to map it all out and crush it in there is going to be, I can't wait to see it. It's going to be wild.
It's exciting. It belongs in Chicago. It really does. Riot Land was always meant to be for Chicago. Yeah. And for the fact that, it moved before being before it was actually actualized, then coming to a new location. So Riot Land has moved twice now, and I don't think that's ever been done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty insane.
It is, and it just feels right.
Wow.
It feels awesome.
As I love the announcement when you made it, the move, but to me, it does, and just like your feelings are, like just to sit there in Douglas Park and the skyline playing, and of course we're going to have Fall Out Boy and Offspring and Cypress Hill and Public Enemy just on the first night alone with Sum 41 and NoFX and their first of their final 3 shows ever. A lot of bands, and then that's just Friday, which, by the way, as we go through the schedule that dropped yesterday, the Times, boy, I got to buy some new running shoes before Riot Fest.
I know.
And I got to start working out. I got to start doing something for the next 6 weeks.
The one advantage, the huge advantage of Douglas Park is that, how it's in many ways, like the stages are going to be somewhat the same as they were last year. There's one movement towards like where the Cove is, because that's where Riot Land will be living. But the great thing is how we've split it up into like, not really that much walking between stages. It's not like a laborious, like you're herding cattle, like downtown. Even with Lalo, they do so many people. It's just like, it takes like 40 minutes to get to north to south. Well, we're lucky we don't have to. It's really a couple-minute walk from the furthest stage to 2 further stages, only a couple-minute walk.
So thank goodness, because the way I have to haul ass from Cypress Hill to Public Enemy is unbelievable. They're near each other.
Kenzie will be wearing her goth boots, too. She has to have the look. So on the grass and trying to get to those different stages.
I'm a little wobbly.
The good thing is those 2 stages are next to each other.
There you go.
Baby.
Those 2 stages, all you have to do is turn your head.
Talk dirty to me.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be an incredible weekend, of course, as we go through the whole weekend, with Beck and Pavement on Saturday. And then, that's that's epic. And then the Throwdown Day, as I like to call it, because you got like Mastodon, Suicidal Tendencies, Lamb of God, Rob Zombie, Slayer. And then you got Sublime and Slayer playing at the same time. A lot of people checked in on that and thought it was hilarious. You got Slayer and Sublime at the same time. Also, NoFX doing their final show on another stage at the same time, too, at NoFX World.
Mm-hmm. I see maybe if I'm lucky enough, because it's like, being on site, it's kind of my job to make sure everything's operating right, and everybody could find me if something would go wrong. This year's going to be hard for me to stay put. There's a lot of things I want to see, I'll tell you that much. And, everything from having Slayer back after their hiatus, and pavement, big one for us,
Yeah.
trying for years, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. And, last minute, like maybe a couple weeks before we announced, they were available. We're like, whoa, yes, all day long, the offer.
Well, listen, Riot Mike, we're so happy you checked in this morning, and we're so stoked it's back in Douglas Park in Chicago where it belongs, and thanks for sharing the story of that. We'll see you soon, obviously, in about, 6 weeks.
Days.
And can't wait for all the stuff involved with it.
I am very happy that we found it. This is I love talking to both of you. It's such an easy interview. I get we're doing live TV, and it's so it's stressful. This is we're just talking amongst friends. I'm glad I'm starting my morning off with you.
Oh,
it's wonderful.
We love you.
We're just kicking.
Likewise.
Yeah, we're just kicking it in here. That's what we do. Well, thank you, Mike. Have a stellar day, and we'll see you soon.
All right, happy Friday.
Yes. All right, there's Riot Mike, and the information coming in, of course, from Riot Fest of all that's happened this week. All the information at Q101.com, all of our socials, because Riot Fest, also riotfest.org, all of their socials, too. We all link together because we're great partners, and that's why we love Riot Fest, and we love you.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning, and Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.